Before you watch this video, there's a link in the description which talks in detail about the introduction of Ulka and what are the features available in the public links, meaning what you can actually access without logging in. By this time, I believe you might have already have an idea on what Ulka is. Maybe we can quickly revisit it. Ulka, which stands for Universal Language Contribution API, developed by MITI, is a standard API and open scalable data platform for datasets, models, and benchmarking for Indian languages. Ulka will help researchers develop language AI technologies including machine translation, automating speech recognition, and optical character recognition in all 22 Indian languages. Now let's jump into the Ulka sign up page. It's a simple interface and we just have to enter very basic information to get started. Once you initiate the sign up by providing name, email address and password, you would be receiving a confirmation email. Once you confirm, you are good to sign in and explore more features in Ulka. Since I have already created an account, let's log in and start exploring the features. So we land in the dataset overview page, which gives high-level information about the distribution of data. These visuals are already discussed in the introduction video, so we will skip this and jump into the page from where we can contribute our dataset into the Ulka system. We have to navigate to the dataset tab and then select submit dataset. The system accepts a name which is user defined, but make sure it's meaningful. Also enter the public URL of the zipped version of the dataset. We will see what this zip contains in a while, but let's copy paste the URL and the name, and once you submit, a service request number is generated and it's a async process. The status would be updated under the my contribution section as it progresses through various stages all the way from download to publish. So there are 4 different stages in the pipeline. First, the download stage, where the zip file is downloaded from the public URL and unzipped. Next is the ingest stage. It's where the schema validation happens based on the contract, and each of the record would be sent for the validation stage. In validation stage, all the records are validated for canonical checks, and it also passes through a profanity filter. Then in the publish stage, the deduplication happens, and finally the successful records are available in the Ulka system for everybody to consume. Here, as we can see, all the stages have completed. We can see some job level metrics and shows the success and the failure count of records at each of these stages. There will be 2 types of error details available for a job run. First is the error summary, where we can get an aggregated view by error message. This would be very useful when the number of rejects are higher. Here we are downloading it for our current run, and let's quickly walk through this. We can see that some of the records are rejected due to various reasons at the validation stage. Either it could be due to availability of offensive text, or it could be that the records are very short, something like having less than 3 characters in the source sentences in case of parallel corpus. The canonical check depend on the dataset type. We also see that the deduplication check happening in the publish stage, and some of them have been rejected as duplicates. Now, if we want to check the record level details for these errors, we can download the detailed error logs. Now let's download and quickly see what's in there. First, we unzip the error log, and we see that the size is usually much higher since the respective entire JSON records are included here. For all the error messages, we have corresponding record level information. Let us jump back to the My Contribution tab. Here we have a list of all my past dataset submission details, irrespective of the dataset type. We can use available filters to search for a particular dataset type or status. We can also use the global search to quickly search for any string. Let's assume I want to see all the PIB dataset that be submitted. I can search for the PIB string and here we can see the result. Now let us review what files are available in the submitted zip. We are currently in the GitHub page for Ulka. As explained in the README, a zip would contain two files, namely data.json, which contains the actual data, and the params file, which contains the metadata information. In addition to it, the zip also contains other media files, audio files in case of ASR dataset and image files in case of OCR dataset. There is a contract defined for each of the dataset types. The link for this contract would be published in the description part. The Ulka GitHub hosts samples for most of the use cases. Let us now check a popular method for creating a parallel corpus, which would be a web script and aligned using labc. Let us now check its params file. Most of them are straightforward. There is a dataset type field which is parallel corpus in this case, and we define the source in the target languages. Then we mention the collection sources, which contains the list of actual sources from where this parallel corpus was curated. We can also provide collection details, but this is an optional field. Then is followed by the license and the submitter information for this submitted dataset. We highly encourage you to fill this params file with as much data as possible. Also, make sure it sticks with the Ulka contract. Some of the fields are predefined as a enum, and the specified value should be one among the list. One such example is the license field, so when specifying, make sure the value is one among the supported licenses. We cannot stress more on providing credits to all the members who had worked on a dataset under the team section. Now let's check the data.json. This contains the record level information. In case of parallel corpus, the source and the target text are specified. These are the mandatory fields, and if there are any fields specific to that record, they can be included, though they are optional. As a good practice, the default of the common fields can be specified in the params.json, and the record specific fields are mentioned in the data.json. Once these two files are created, zip these and make it available through a public link, either GCP or S3, which can be later submitted into the Ulka system. Now that we have seen how to submit a dataset, we'll have a follow-up video on how to contribute a model to Ulka and perform a benchmarking on it.